I really do appreciate your agreeing to do this. So you're welcome to Bold with KSA. I know that we don't have much time, so we're gonna get right into it. Bold is acronym for becoming open-minded, limitless, and daring. I had given you a prior intro before now, so just in the interest of time, I'm going to skip that. While we'll wait for others to join, we have to just get started because Bayo had a hard stop. Hopefully, he can give us a few minutes. But today we're talking about rising to the top, unlocking the secrets to achieving success and building a legacy. It took me about 6 months to plan this particular program, which is why it is sad that technology is holding my hand, but it's okay. And I will say that I did prayerfully, thoughtfully think about each of the speakers to bring, as well as the topics to give each of the speakers as well, right? As well as even the timing. Okay. So for me, Bayo, we met back in university days where everybody were innocent, young and free, and all of that. I used to joke with him. I knew Bayo when Bayo used to, at one point, used to sell pure water, right, in a school. And you wore this particular orange shirt 3 times a week, you know. You wash it, iron it, but it was always ironed. And you wear it 3 times a week. But with all of that, it was easy to cite him. And he had this energy about him, so he would move around when fellowship together and all of that. But he's a very special person. I believe that God gave Bayo a unique kind of wisdom. All right. I've been following him, of course, for many years now. And every of the, what's it called, milestones that he hits, I'm like, wow, this guy, I'm not surprised at all. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to see for myself. So we met again last year. And I was glad that, I mean, from afar, I could see that he still retained many of these values that I've known him for. Okay. But let me say this quickly before it starts. One of the things that I highlight of the things I remember very well is when I was doing my graduation, right? Bayo came, so I didn't even tell him my graduation was that day. But we have a mutual friend, which is Jide Dukoya, who is supposed to be my friend. And I had invited him to come and capture today. Then Bayo meets Jide, and Jide is like, oh, I'm going to Medilag. Today is Kemi's graduation. She didn't tell me. Okay, I'm coming. And then he shows face, and you won't believe that I invited Jide to take my picture. Up to today, I've not collected the pictures. I ended up relying on the pictures from Bayo. You know, I never even had this conversation with him, Bayo, but I never actually forgot that. I'm like, wow, this guy is so special. So to see all those big things that he's doing and then he still retain his values meant a lot for me. And I said, you know what? I'll definitely like to bring Bayo on my platform. But again, like I said, I believe that God has put deep wisdom in Bayo. I heard him speaking on a platform one day. The last person that gave me this sort of energy, I'm telling you, and I'm not the kind of person that lies, was Martin Luther King Jr. Trust me. I watched him speaking and then I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? This is Bayo. He probably might feel like this was just a normal thing, and I'm honestly not trying to make it. That's the energy I felt. Because you see that Martin Luther King Jr., I've watched his speech, I've watched him several times, and the lesson that gave me that sort of effect was Martin. So when I saw Bayo, I'm like, wow, you know. So I'm here with my pen and paper, ready to write, ready to draw from this wisdom as well, and it's a privilege to have him on this platform, live and direct, both with KSA. You know, some people have some time difference challenge because they are not in Nigeria. So, which is why it was important for me to go live. So they will always have access to the videos afterwards. All right, but right now, over to you, Bayo. Tell us about Bayo. What does success mean to you? What does building a legacy mean to you? Why do you do the things that you do and the way that you do them? What's your driving force? What's the vision? How has your history, your past experiences influenced your current reality and what your future ambitions look like? And talk to us about rising to the top, the principles around it, and things like that. All right, what to you, Bayo?
Thank you very much, Kemi, for what you do and for even doing this in the first place. I sincerely apologize that this is going to be very short. And hello, everyone. Hello, Bolanle. Hello, Chiamaka. Hello, Damilola. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Frederick. Hello, Benga. And hello, Rhoda. And I, Kemi. My name is Bayo Omoboriowo, and it's such a privilege to be here this beautiful evening in Nigeria. And love to everyone wherever you are in the part of the world. Again, my name is Bayo Omoboriowo, and I think one of the core things to me is really family. And Kemi, you are family. And even in the midst of my very, very, very tight schedule, I needed to make sure I was here. And I'm glad to be here as well. And thank you for all those stories and bringing back the memories of 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. And particularly, I remember, you being friends with Jide. But if I'm going to start my story, I'm going to start with, meeting Jide and then meeting you. Because then I graduated before you guys, and I remember Jide was my junior. And if I don't remember anything, I left NYSC because Jide reached out to me that at a point he needed photography equipment because he wanted to be a photographer. He was a graphic designer and I was a photographer. And he told me he would love for me to loan him my camera for a period of time. And I came back to Unilag and then we met and we became friends. And I gave him the camera and started taking pictures. And then I remember after a while, I came back from NYSC and came to Jide's room to sports. And that's going to be the beginning of my story. I finished from University of Lagos with 4.26 CGPA. I studied pure and applied chemistry, then went for NYSC. But at NYSC, I knew photography was calling me. I knew there was something about me and photography. I knew it wasn't just about, because I went to serve in Port Harcourt because I wanted to work in oil and gas. And of course, life showed me that I needed to go back to life knew I was going to do photography. So it made them send me to a primary school, a secondary school to teach. So I was a teacher. So I had free time. And then I started taking pictures all around. And then when I came to Unilag to meet with Jide, I came to Squat. And why did I come to Squat? Jide had background in graphic design, which simply means he knew how to use Photoshop and all those other editing software. I had the passion and the natural tendency for photography, but I didn't know how to post-produce my work. So I came to Squat with Jide to collaborate. And the beginning of my conversation today is collaboration. The journey of who we are today was the journey of collaboration. Myself and Jide then collaborated. So I started squatting in Jide's room. And then from there, we're about 10 in a room. Can you imagine a graduate after NYSC coming back to University of Lagos to squat? But I knew that for me, I needed to pay the price for the future I wanted. And I knew I needed to squat. So I squatted in University of Lagos. And there were days that they would lock the door, then we'll go under the gates, just looking for every way to make sense out of life. I squatted, but yeah, I am today. I don't have to squat again. But it's integral for everyone to understand the power of price paying, because we are in a generation where people think I deserve to earn it. I deserve to own it. I'm meant to be given. Society is meant to give to me. The government is not giving it to me. My uncle is not giving it to me. My father did not give us anything. But building a legacy is that they did not give it to you, but what are you going to build? Because we cannot give an excuse for our yesterday, but look at today to build a better tomorrow. It's about perspective. And for me, that is my journey. But let me backtrack a little to what I wanted to start with initially. The power of finding who you are is the power to achieving success and building a legacy. If you do not know who you are and you do not discover who you are, you can't rise to the top. Because first, it is either there is a giant and the giant is sleeping, then you say, wake up the sleeping giant. But there must be, is this a giant? It is either this is doubting Thomas, that Thomas needs to have a redefined mindset to come out from the state of doubt and become who he needs to become. Or it can be the situation of the tax collector who needed to be, come on the tree to see hope. But first, you must know where you are. Who are you? And when we were in school, they said divide the X, find the X. What they were telling us to do in school was to actually find us. So define the X that we were confused about in university and say, why are they telling us to find the X? The X was actually us, because the life in itself is not by the things we learn in the school, which is why they said, think outside the box and don't confine yourself to the four walls of the university or four walls of school. Because education in itself is first about self-discovery. So if you ever want to build a legacy, you first need to discover who you are. You need to identify yourself. You need to know your strengths. You need to know your weaknesses. You need to know your gaps. You need to know who are the people who will be relevant in supporting you to building a legacy. For me, I found that because I first found myself. And I say that again, I don't know if they are Christians here. The best way to even find yourself is to find God. Because life won't make sense until you find yourself and you find your God. And for me, all of this is what begins to build a measure to you emerging. And once you emerge, then you now begin to talk about sustaining. But the first secret is know yourself. What do you really think you are existing in life for? What is life to you? What are you living for? You wake up every day, what drives you? Now, this is not a bandwagon effect kind of thing. It's first about purpose. Why do I exist? Because without purpose, life won't make sense to you. You can make all the money. You can buy all the fancy cars, but life won't make sense to you if you've not found why you are even existing in that life. And for each and every one of us, we are writing a chapter in history book. The question is, what chapter are you writing? What is the content of your own chapter? And as I went through life, of course, we left Unilag after squatting. And I was telling someone recently, life a lot of times in the journey of building this success and building a legacy will not give to you what you think you deserve. Life will play dramas with you, but the most important thing is your conviction continues to drive you. I was telling someone recently where after I left squatting in Unilag, I went to meet someone and I said, his storeroom in his house, not his house, the storeroom at the back of the house. I won't say BQ. Where they park junks. I said, please, sir, can I just clear the junk and come and be squatting inside the place? And, I remember 2 days ago that the man did not give me the space. But today, we have spaces that we are giving to people. We have Madhouse now, we are giving creatives for free. And we say the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. But I remember back then that even the challenges of my situation then did not stop me from chasing life. And I ask each and every one of us, I always say it, how crazy are you about what you are actually pushing? And I say, how bad do you want it? You want to unlock the secrets to achieving success. You want to build a legacy. How bad do you want it? So it's not about anybody pushing you. It's not about you looking for motivation. It's not about you looking for ginger. It's not about, oh, my mental health is disturbing me. I don't feel like doing anything right now. I just want to chill. It's about the fact that you are hungry and desperate about success, knowing fully well within you that the excuses you want to present is not tenable, which simply means no matter how sweet your excuse is, it's not going to be acceptable. So as you go out every day, ask yourself, how bad do I really want this thing? How bad do I want to build success? I told you about squatting, but beyond squatting, I walked pure water on the streets of Lagos. There were days that while in University of Lagos, we could not even afford to drink garri. There were days that I was fetching water and washing clothes because I was squatting with someone in Ilupeju. There were days that I used my head to carry load. There were days that I carried kegs of jerrycans of kerosene. So I had seen enough of poverty. I had lived with poverty. I had tasted poverty. I had dined with poverty. I had made poverty, my best friend. The only thing I didn't do was to turn around and say, no, poverty, you can't live in my house. So I knew that for me, it was a game of it's enough is enough. And I needed to build and make sense out of life for myself. So I will ask you, 1, I said, find yourself. 2, I said, collaborate. And I talked about the example of collaborating with GD, and how both of us today are successful within our different fields. Number 3 is desperation. You must desperately want it. There's something that says, as the deer pants for the water, so my soul pants for you. How is your soul panting for success? This legacy you want, is it just once you're able to pay your house rent, is that all you want? You're able to pay your house rent, you're able to drive a Toyota Corolla, or you're able to just drive, even if you're able to drive a Range Rover, is that all that life means to you? Or do you think that there's something inside of you that is saying you need to build something for generations yet unborn? Is there something in your mind telling you that history is waiting for you to see what you're going to write on this chapter of your own life? And rising to the top is not rocket science. It's also about seizing opportunity. Seizing opportunities. And you cannot seize an opportunity you are not prepared for. And I always tell people, how prepared are you today for the tomorrow you greatly desire? So I worked with the president, and it's one of the highlights of my career. But I had to go to Osun to go and photograph. I had to go to Ekiti to go and photograph Fayemi. I had to go to Osun to go and photograph Egbesola. Nothing, no gain, nothing. Just, complete, it was huge sacrifice on my own part. But rising to the top is also first that you even identify what the ladder is. If you don't even identify the ladder, you can't rise to the top. What is the ladder? What channel do you want to rise to? What channel do you want to use to rise to the top? Or is it just a cliche word? I want to rise to the top. But as you want to rise to the top, what channel do you want to use? What ladder do you want to use? Is your ladder YouTube content that you need to start creating? Is your ladder to work as an 8 to 5 person, as an entrepreneur? Is your ladder for you to work as an entrepreneur? Is it that signs are already showing you that this entrepreneurship you are doing is not for you? Maybe your calling is entrepreneurship, where you're going to work within an organization and you're going to support that organization to build. And as the organization rises, you rise to the top. Maybe your ladder is to go back to the corporate world. Maybe your ladder is to leave the corporate world and come to entrepreneurship, which simply means you have been afraid of the fear of failing within entrepreneurship, but your rising to the top needs you to follow the ladder. Follow the ladder. Follow the ladder. The ladder that is calling you is the ladder to entrepreneurship, where you will collect that boost and you will still keep going. So you must actually ask yourself, what is the game for me? How do I want to rise to the top? And as you rise to the top, you cannot rise alone. Who do you want to rise with? Which brings me to another point. And reiterating my word on collaboration, who are you rising with? Who are you playing this game with? And as you continue to look at it, you begin to audit your relationships. Who are the people in that network you are moving with? Are they border bullies or border buddies? Do they bring you from the other? As you are rising to the top, they are pulling you back. And they begin to pull you back. Immediately they see that you've gotten a lot. That is when they want to borrow money. Or they want to introduce you to a project that is going to drain your accounts. Or they are going to be looking for other ways to discourage you from building something tangible. So rising to the top is not rocket science, but there are principles that must be in place to take you there. And I'm here to encourage you that no matter how bad yesterday has been, today presents you an opportunity to build the tomorrow you really want. To unlock the secrets and achieve success and build a lasting legacy, there's a price to be paid. Are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to carry your cross? Are you willing to run the race? Nobody is going to give it to you on a platter of gold. And I believe it is possible. But first, your heart must be willing to go there. And if you're willing to go there, then the future is here. And for the fact that you guys are even part of this in the first place, I think you guys really want to go there. So thank you, Kemi, for putting this together. And I'm excited for how far these guys are going to go. I've come today just to join my own stick to the ladder. As you go, I've added my own stick to say this ladder, this rising is possible. But as you rise, don't remove the ladder. Build it for others. Because your success is going to be also hinged on how you not look up alone as you rise, but you must also look down. Because in case you are going to fall, someone down is going to be there to hold you. So never look up alone. Look down as well. Incubate upwards, incubate downwards. Love and peace always.
Wow, that's super amazing. I mean, I hate that time is the limiting factor right now, but you said some really, really deep things. You know, one of the things that I want to emphasize is where you talked about relationships and how people need to identify the people that are around them currently. Are they borderline bullies or borderline bodies? Oh my God, that's so critical. And I like that you said borderline, because people, you can't really say clearly, is this person really a bully? They won't come to you. It's not the strategy of bullying in secondary school where they are beating you up or they are talking down on you, right? But at the same time, you have to be able to filter the people that really, really want you rising to the top. All right. So many people want you to rise to the top until you get there. Then you realize that, wow, maybe they didn't actually even want the best for you. And then you said something about paying the price, which was what the last speaker, Razak Ahmed, emphasized on. So it felt like you actually listen. It's the same thing at the end of the day. I love this. I love that all the speakers here were very aligned as to what is the driving force, what are the principles. It's not 101 strategies for becoming successful or building a legacy. It still goes back to some of the little things. And then you said, what is the ladder? What exactly is the ladder, right? Are you ready to pay the price, as well as the power of collaboration? One of the things that the speakers here mentioned is how the people in the future you're talking about, that it's just like there are certain things that I would need right now that Bayo has strengths in. It's easy for me to plug and buzz him. I mean, it's on my platform right now. Not everybody will have access to him like I do. But when was the seed planted? From back in school days. So that's the power of collaboration. And this Jide as well that you mentioned, Jide and I have probably not spoken in a long time. But if I call him today, I can't say I need something from Jide and I say no. Since when have you? No. When was the seed planted? So you have to actually pay attention to all the relationships that you're experiencing. Bayo, I know that 6 o'clock was you have to absolutely go by 6, or you are able to take some questions or anything? I mean, I will definitely understand. What we probably might do is, I don't know how this year is for Bayo, but we probably have to bring you back.
My calls, they're already calling me, so I would have to go now. But again, I would love to come back again, and
Okay.
we can have again. People can have you can share my email. They can send questions, and I can easily respond to questions. But if there's any need for me to come again and do another hour again,
you have
I
to
wouldn't
come
mind
again.
to do that.
Bayo, you have to come again. We need to drill you. Last session was 2.5 hours.
I'm here.
So
It's just the timing. But I'll be able to do another 1 hour again. But I'll be able to only do an hour at a stretch.
Okay. February or March, which works for you? Because the cohort.
It can even be in 2 weeks.
Okay, that works. So in 2 weeks time. Okay.
So if we do the same time in 2 weeks, I can do this again, another hour again.
Awesome. So that's probably what we're doing, because the intensive program itself ends in 5 weeks. However, the program lasts for 1 year. So 2 weeks time,
So
definitely I'll
let's do
host
it.
you. Thank you so much, Baya. I really do appreciate your time. We'll catch you up. I'll catch up with you again. All right, guys.
Appreciate.
Yeah, sure. Bye. Okay. All right. I need to stop the live.